Hello everyone, welcome to Rajeshwari's Commerce and Management Study Hub. I am Rajeshwari here. Let us discuss today income from house property. In the previous videos, we have understood income from salary, that is the first head of income. We have totally 5 heads of income. The second head of income is income from house property. Let us discuss this. Before discussing income from house property, we have different sections under income from house property. Totally, we have 7 sections. They are chargeability, section 22, determination of annual value, section 23. Annual value only your taxable value, that is why this is section 23. Deductions, section 24. Amount not deductible, section 25. Taxability of arrears of rent and unrealized rent, section 25A. Taxability of co-owned property, section 26. Deemed ownership, section 27. Now, annual value is taxable value. But do you consider all the values as a taxable value? No. There are certain conditions. The condition should be fulfilled to consider that as an taxable value. First one, there should be an house property. It can be a building, land, apartment. But if you have any vacant land, if you receive any rent from that, that will be taxed from the income from other sources, vacant land. Okay. Then assessee should be the owner of that property. Assessee should not use the property for his business or profession. If the assessee is engaged in the business of letting out the property, income will be taxable under the head PGBP. Assessee can let out the property either for residential purpose or for the commercial purpose. The types of house property will be divided into two. Let out property, self-occupied property. It is called as LOP and SOP. LOP is always taxable. There is no exemptions. For self-occupied property, we have self-occupied property for residence, self-occupied property for business and profession. If the self-occupied property, two self-occupied property will be exempted from tax. There is no tax. If you have more than two self-occupied property, then two will be exempted. The remaining self-occupied property will be treated as deemed to be let out property. It will be taxable. Self-occupied for property for business and profession, it will be ignored, used for business or profession. Let us understand the computation of the gross annual value. To compute the gross annual value, we need municipal value. Then fair rental value. Here we are comparing the municipal value with the fair rental value. Whichever is higher will be considered. And with that amount, we are comparing the standard rent. Then we are considering whichever is less. That will be your expected rent. Then actual rent, whatever you are received, will be compared. Whichever is higher will be considered as a gross annual value. Let us understand what is this municipal value. The municipal value is the property as per the municipal records. The value of property as per the municipal records is called as municipal value. Fair rent. It is rent of similar property in the same location. Standard rent. It is the rent as per the Rent Control Act. Actual rent. Rent received or rent receivable minus unrealized rent. That is actual rent. Deduct the unrealized rent if it is genuine, means subjected to the condition of Rule 4. What is this Rule 4? For unrealized rent, it means rent not recovered by owner from tenant. It is called unrealized rent. That will be deducted. Conditions. Tenancy should be bona fide. Tenant should have vacant the house property. Without vacating, we cannot show it as a vacancy period. Such tenant should not occupy any other house property of same assessee. reasonable steps should have been taken for recovery of unrealized rent. Then municipal tax. Municipal tax is the property tax or out tax. Local tax are allowed or deductible only when it is paid by owner or paid by tenant. Actually, paid amount will be considered. Then calculation of taxable income from house property head. Here we have self-occupied property, let out property, deemed to be let out property. The gross annual value, whatever we have calculated, that will be taken. It will be nil for self-occupied property because it is exempted from tax. For LOP, we are considering. For DLOP, we are considering. From this, the municipal tax paid by the owner will be deducted. Then we will get net annual value. As already we know, deductions will be coming under the section 24. Under section 24, we have two sections, subsections, that is 24A, 24B. 24A is for standard rent at 30% of net annual value. On net annual value, 30% will be considered for the deductions and interest on loan that will be taken. Then we will get income from house property. Now, interest on loan. There are certain conditions to consider the interest on loan. Here, the loan should be taken for the purpose of purchase, construction, repair, renovation of house property. The purpose should be this. Any one of this will be considered. Then, allowed on due basis. Interest on interest is not allowed. That is, penal interest will not be allowed. Only interest is allowed. And loan may be taken from bank, financial institution, friends, family, etc. On fresh loan. Any fresh loan taken to repay the earlier loan, the interest shall be allowed. Because it is taken for the construction purpose only, that is why that is allowed. Now, interest. Interest for LOP and DLOP, that is let out property or deemed to be let out property, there is a limit. For self-occupied property up to 2 houses, in special cases maximum 2 lakh, in normal cases maximum 30,000 is exempted. Conditions of maximum limit of rupees 2 lakh is in case of self-occupied property. Loan is taken on or after 1st April 1999. Loan is taken for purchase, construction of house property. Construction should be completed within 5 years from the end of the year in which loan was taken. Interest paid outside India allowed only if TDS was deducted. Then pre-construction or pre-acquisition interest. Interest paid before the year in which construction was completed. It is allowed in 5 equal installment from the year in which construction is completed. This is about the interest. I hope you all understood the concept of income from house property. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.